Welcome to Harry's Garage with a bit of a difference because there's no car involved here. This time it's going to be about a boat, and a really special boat, because behind me is the new Aston Martin boat, the AM37 as they're terming it. Actually the AM37S in this case, because this one has the big V8s in it, 520 horsepower each, so this is a 1,000 horsepower Aston Martin boat. And if you're wondering where we are, we're in Monaco, but not the normal marina that you know perhaps from the Grand Prix, the other side, the big marina. There's a little marina in Monaco, Fontainebleau, just round the corner. Those giant rocks behind me, on top of that is the palace, and the other side is where the other marina is. But what's of real interest is this gorgeous boat behind me, 37 foot, as I say, a 50-knot monster. Beautifully sunny here. I also know there's a bit of wind around the place, and it's quite lumpy out at sea. Anyway, I'm going to take you around this boat, show you some details, and then we're going out and seeing what it really does on the sea. Now we're about to step on board. As first sight of this boat, I'm just shocked at the design and how different it is to any other boat I know. Beautiful looking. I love the use of the teak, and what's really clever with it, hopefully we'll see it later, is that rear bathing platform. Underneath there is a cover that completely encloses this, and I can sort of see, when we get on board we'll probably see it better. But it's one of those boats you can completely lock away and make it waterproof. It has signatures of Aston all over it. Colours beautifully. I love the way they've actually incorporated the badge. There's no doubting this is an Aston Martin boat. And then if you see the curve on that windscreen, never seen a curve like that on anything. A one-piece windscreen is the holy grail in boat design. Everybody wants to do it, and they've achieved it here. No safety rails, so we won't be going up front when we're in the sea. I'll be very interested to see how you deploy the anchor, but at this moment all I care about is drop dead gorgeous. Engine options for this boat, 3 available, starting with a 420 horsepower V8, 1.26 million for you if you want that option. Next one up is the 370 horsepower diesel, which I think makes this the first diesel Aston Martin. 370 times 2, so 740 horsepower total, 1.32 something. And then if you go for the full fat, the full-on 37S like this one with 520 horsepower V8s, you're at £1.6 million. Okay, have a look at the cockpit. Some of the beautiful design features on here. Again, a bespoke seat, and I can see down there there's bespoke bags, saddle leather bags hiding down there. Really nicely done. But the bits I really want to show you are like the steering wheel. That is unique to this boat. A really nice design with the Aston badge, beautifully trimmed, and also the engine controls. You have on a boat, you have the 2 controls here for each engine, 520 horsepower pieces. You remember on this boat, which is quite a lot of horsepower. You trim the engines, propellers you trim, depending, as the bow moves up in the air, you might just trim that down, and when you go flat on the plane, you trim it back. I'll explain that in a moment. You can also, on these controls, you press sync, and then instead of using the 2 controls, you just use 1 control, and that controls both engines and keeps the revs identical. Now what I can't get over with this boat is how bespoke all the dash layout. That is a unique dash again for this boat. They haven't gone into the local channels and got the normal sort of Ray Marine sort of navigation system. This is only on this boat. That's so hard to do in this day and age, but it is beautifully done. One thing I've noticed is not a lot of handrails. They've got these leather handrails, but they don't feel very solid. They look beautiful, but I'd rather have a steel one to sort of get hold of. As you'd expect, beautifully trimmed down here, this sort of rosewood finish and white leather everywhere. The little galley kitchen you can see over there. I've got a coffee machine, I've got a microwave and a sink. That's all I basically need to do anything down here. You're not going to spend really any time down here, perhaps of an evening, but when you're underway, it's all about being outside. But it is really nicely done, and I don't know if you can just see above my head here, there's some skylight windows coming in, just throwing a bit of light into the cabin. Very nicely done. It has, if I was to open, I'll have a look in a moment, behind this rosewood here is actually the toilet. It's known as a heads on a boat. There isn't a shower, but there's a little wash basin and a toilet, which is very nice to have if you're on board for quite a while. One thing I ought to add, when you come down below, you have this really nice table, and you'll see it's on a sort of hydraulic strut, because could you be caught out and think, you know what, I'm not going to book the hotel, you can actually lower that table and create a bed there. You're not going to do it very often, but it's a very nice, useful sort of feature if you want to fancy a sort of weekend away on your beautiful AM37. What's the speed limit? Is it 3?
3. She'll run at just nice on 2 engines. She'll balance on 2 engines. She'll give you about 3.8.
Oh, okay. So we're allowed.
Yeah. So you're only just making 3 knots now on lows of the boat.
Right, we're off and away. One thing I'm very conscious of, this is a very expensive boat. This is a £1.5 million boat, and it's a one-off, this boat. It's prototype. We've been out, just had a quick go out, and what impressed me so was the hull, just how it powers away. It went through the chop, and being petrol engine, there's a beautiful sound that comes through once those 2 big V8s get going. I think they're 8.6 litre each, they're pretty mighty engines. So you control them on the 2 sticks here, as you just hear it, that lovely V8 sound coming just as you accelerate out the harbour. I've got to be a bit careful here because there is a speed limit. We're out the speed limit. I've got to get no. Okay, I'll go a little gentle and get out the speed limit then. Right, we're just out of the harbour now. Now I'm going to introduce the engine. You can just hear that V8 rumble, those bows coming up. What we want to do is just get her on the plane. I need to trim.
Tap small down. Goes forward, small down.
Now we're on the plane. Now we're starting to move. It's 36 knots. Just going to do a full power run. Just love how a boat, it builds up onto the plane, you see all this disturbance at the back, and then you get the propellers start to grip, and then you fly. What you're trying to do on the hull is build a bit of air under the hull to lift it out of the water, get on the plane. But you can't have too much lift because you need the grip on the water, and that's why you have a V hull. As you come out of the water, you can see how much water is being dispersed. I just love that sight. Super smooth hull, really impressed by the hull of this thing. You have a stepped hull, so we're still in the water. Just a great sight. Here we go. I'll swing it around. Also, I love the way they lean into the bends when you put a boat into it, it sort of carves round. It's a lovely sensation when you're on board. That's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Yeah. So there you have it. I really enjoyed that. It's not often you get to experience a brand new product, the only one in the world, this Aston AM37 boat. Very impressive. The key points of this boat, very impressive hull. Very good how it went through the water. It weighs 6.7 tons, which is a little bit more than I expected when you look at its construction, but there's a reason for that. It's for all that sort of the covers and the bimini coming up. That's really clever, have the boat you can just seal up, and also that weight helps it go through the water. There was a bit of chop out there, a fair bit of swell, and this carves straight through it. There's a few things to look at. I want more connectivity with the water. If I was owning this boat, I want to be able to steps and swim off the boat. They're looking at that, how they do steps into the water, and I'd probably put a sunbed down where I'm standing at the moment on this teak deck. Looks wonderful, but actually how you use a boat like this is you find a secret cove, anchor off, and just enjoy the day swimming on it. But what really impressed me about this boat is how it's Aston Martin through and through, from the design, from the cockpit. There's so many signatures of pure Aston Martin. This isn't a collaboration. I sense this is Aston really getting into boats. This is a brand extension, and I also sense that we're not going to only see this boat. They're very, very coy about it, but I think there might be a range coming. If we look back in 5 years' time, well, I think we'll see more than one boat. But if this is the start of it, this is a really impressive entry into the boat market. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, because more videos coming on very soon.